Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome to Consensus, which is my new channel name as of this year, and sticking to my very rough upload schedule of about one video per year, this is my annual video. I've been trying to find some free time to actually make a YouTube video, and thankfully I've got around to it, and I could not pass up the opportunity to discuss this topic. It has been a very long time coming, but officially, ladies and gentlemen, the indoctrination theory has been debunked by BioWare. Near the beginning of this month, which is February of 2021, there were official statements released by writers from BioWare, well, one writer specifically, that officially reveals the theory to be non-canonical. Now, for me, this is some of the best news to come out of this new Mass Effect craze as a result of the remastered trilogy. As I'm sure you're all well aware, BioWare has released a new Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is a remaster of the 3 original Mass Effect games in the trilogy, which seeks to optimize them into a 4K Ultra HD variant, as well as cleaning up the gameplay in Mass Effect 1 and smoothing over performance issues as well. In my opinion, there is absolutely nothing wrong with BioWare deciding to do this, and I'm actually pretty excited to get back into the Mass Effect universe. Undoubtedly, this is going to generate a lot of attention for BioWare as well as the Mass Effect series overall, and will likely get a lot of new people interested and involved in the series. But, all of that aside, what does this have to do with the indoctrination theory, and why did I want to make this video? Well, to put it in simplest terms, I just wanted to get this information out to people because I haven't seen a whole lot of discussion taking place with regards to BioWare denouncing the indoctrination theory themselves. Now, I've been involved with the indoctrination theory for the past few years, specifically with the videos that I created, and it has always been my goal to express my views and do my best to convince people that the indoctrination theory was always just a fan theory. And with BioWare releasing this statement and this new information being available to everyone, there is no better time to bring this up and to put the theory to rest once and for all after all these years. Now, I put a lot of hours into my past indoctrination theory videos, and honestly, in light of this information coming out, it all feels worth it. But please excuse this rather long intro, and let's get into the actual details of this video. A gentleman by the name of Chris Hepler, who is credited as a writer for Mass Effect 2 as well as Mass Effect 3, conducted a conversation, interview of sorts with a journalist from The Gamer, in which he details BioWare's thoughts towards the indoctrination theory. I'd just like to note that Hepler did state that he is a fan of the indoctrination theory and thinks it is very well put together per se, but he wanted to be very clear that BioWare had never came to the conclusion of indoctrination themselves, and that the theory is a fan creation and nothing more. So, continuing on, I will read out Hepler's exact quotes so you can get a better understanding of what he was attempting to convey in this interview. So, Hepler said, "The indoctrination theory is a really interesting theory, but it's entirely created by the fans. While we made some of the ending a little trippy because Shepard is a breath away from dying and it's entirely possible there's some subconscious power to the kid's words, we never had the sort of meetings you'd need to have to properly seed it through the game." He continues to say, "We weren't that smart. By all means, make mods and write fanfic about it, and enjoy whatever floats your boat, because it's a cool way to interpret the game. But it wasn't our intention, we didn't write that." So overall, it would appear, to me at least, that Hepler is saying exactly what myself and a lot of other, straightforward anti-theorists have been saying all these years, and that's that, you know, feel free to interpret the game however you'd like. Nothing is stopping you from enjoying the game in a way that feels best to you. But at the end of the day, people need to accept the fact that the indoctrination theory has never been an intended canonical ending for this series. And that's a point that I really want to iterate with this video. There's nothing wrong with choosing the indoctrination theory as your headcanon, but there is something wrong when you start believing things that are not true. And by that I mean wholeheartedly believing that the theory was the true ending, rather than a fan spin-off. There was more than enough evidence to suggest that the theory was just that, a theory, and was created by fans, but there was still a very large base of people that were in denial regarding the indoctrination theory and wanted to just completely disregard any criticism that was thrown at them. Now, don't take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to sound rude or anything like that. I'm just trying to get the point across that there truly were a lot of people that wanted the indoctrination theory to be real, and the fact that BioWare had never came out and stated it outright allowed them to continue to perpetuate the theory long after its death. So I did my best throughout my my prior videos to, you know, really break down the theory and look at it from a very critical standpoint, and I still had people in the comments section discussing the theory and countering my points that I brought up, and that's all well and good, and I actually really enjoyed the discussions that came up surrounding my video, but in light of this information, I would really hope that a lot of those people that truly did cling to the indoctrination theory after all these years have managed to find peace of themselves that it was not actually intended. Now, I also think it's very important to bring up why BioWare decided to do this after all these years of keeping a lid on the topic. Mass Effect 3 was released in March of 2012, and the extended cut was released a few months after that. And the theory gained a lot of prominence prior to the extended cut. And even after the extended cut, there were still a lot of people that wanted to state that the theory was a possible ending. And despite a lot of the fans, you know, begging BioWare to give us their 2 cents and tell us what the real ending was pertaining to the theory and if it was true or not, they kept quiet, likely to have people still engage with their game well after its conclusion, because really that has been what has happened. They never disclosed whether the theory was real or not, and we still have people to this day discussing it, and this video is proof of that. So why have they officially come out with a statement that essentially pulls the plug on the theory altogether? Well, if you ask me, I have a feeling it has a lot to do with the up-and-coming Mass Effect 4, or whatever they want to call it, the new Mass Effect game that is going to be released at some point, that is going to obviously follow in the footsteps of the original trilogy rather than Mass Effect Andromeda. So for those of you that have not seen it, this is the teaser trailer for the new up-and-coming Mass Effect game. I believe they do not have a release date set for this yet, but it is very clear that it is going to be a continuation of the original trilogy. And while analyzing the trailer, it actually appears to seem that the destruction ending of Mass Effect 3 is the canonical ending. Now, that is just speculation. I obviously cannot make that statement as fact, but judging from what I have seen in this trailer, it would appear that the destruction ending is going to be the ending that the developers decide to stick with as canon for this upcoming game. And therein lies the reason that I believe Hepler made the decision to actually break the ice on the indoctrination theory and state that it is not real. because when you take into consideration the fact that they are remastering the original trilogy, trying to get more people invested so that this new Mass Effect game is more popular when it eventually releases, then you really have to consider what ending they're going to have for this Mass Effect 3 series if they want this Mass Effect 4, per se, to come after it. And if the Indoctrination Theory was not created by BioWare, it's probably a lot better to break the news to everybody now that the remastered trilogy is coming out, rather than having fans find out when the next game drops. It's also completely possible that this might have came up as a result of people speculating on what changes will be added to the Mass Effect games as a result of the remaster, because I think early on when the statement was made that this remaster was underway, people started to think like, oh hey, maybe the ending will get changed, maybe certain aspects of the gameplay and the story will get changed. People didn't really understand that this was more of just a reboot of the graphical settings rather than an actual like remake of the game, which I think perhaps could have caused a bit of confusion and also opened up the doorway for different journalists and fans alike to wonder if the Indoctrination Theory was going to be proven false or not as a result of all this. And as we can see with the conversation that came up because of all this, that the Indoctrination Theory did indeed have to get put to rest. The article itself, though, states that the conversation was actually brought up while discussing the fact that Mass Effect 3 could have had a completely different ending, and that's what Hepler's original conversation with this journalist was about. Now, again, the completely different or alternate ending that Mass Effect could have had was, again, not related to the Indoctrination Theory. So, all in all, guys, this is really all I wanted to discuss in this video. There was one more thing I quickly wanted to touch on, though, and that is the types of comments that I've been seeing left on videos or the trailers for these newer Mass Effect releases. And I have put one of these comments up on the screen here as an example of the types of things that I've been seeing. Mind you, this is not the first and only comment I've seen like this. There have been quite a few regarding the Indoctrination Theory being left on this new Mass Effect 4 trailer. I'm not sure if I've seen any in the remastered, but there probably are some in there as well. And I just really wanted to point out that I think this is slightly unhealthy, to put it mildly. Now, granted, these comments were actually made prior to the statements put out by Hepler, but all the same, I was still kind of hoping that people would come to the conclusion on their own that the Indoctrination Theory was never going to be a canon ending for this game and would not be dragged out into the newer games. But I guess not, and hopefully this video, as well as Hepler's statements itself, will allow people to finally just let this go to rest so we can enjoy Mass Effect the way we're supposed to enjoy Mass Effect. So that just about wraps this up here, guys. I have a bit of speculation regarding maybe the enemies that will be the big baddie in the next Mass Effect game, but I think I will save that for a future video. I know a lot of you guys have been asking if I'm going to be uploading a lot in the future, and to that I say absolutely. I hope to be able to continuously upload whenever I can. I don't have a ton of free time, and I need to be really passionate about the different videos that I put out, and luckily this remastered of Mass Effect is going to allow me to hopefully maybe get some videos out about Mass Effect again before I kind of switch gears. So I have a few different video ideas in mind for what I'd want to talk about specifically more geared towards my video essay style videos that I did on the Indoctrination Theory, just for different topics in Mass Effect. So stay tuned for stuff like that. And otherwise, once Mass Effect has kind of run its course, I will likely switch gears to other RPG, MMO, single-player games that have very in-depth lore and backstory to them that I can really immerse myself in and try to offer some good video content for you guys. So thanks to all of you that have stuck around and supported me while I've been on this Indoctrination Theory endeavor, and hopefully I will see you guys as soon as possible in the future. Take care.